Hi, guys. My name is Michael B. Judkins, and I'm going to be talking about my second collection, The Interlude to Sentimental Me, which is the second series of the Sentimental Me collections of my poetry. Well, I always been a creative person, I think, since I was small as a child. I loved to dance. I used to play teacher with my little cousins. I was the teacher, and I like to play Freddy Krueger and Jason in the backyard, running around with the mask and the gloves. And when I was in high school, the first time I wrote a poem, I was in high school. And I was actually in my global studies or, well, my social studies class. And we was doing a test. And I remember the story because to me, it just sticks in my head. We was doing a test and I wandered off, and as I finished the test, I doodled in the back of the paper of the test, and I just wrote I wrote a poem, and I submitted my test. And I didn't, at the time, I knew, I was into the music scene. I was into hip hop. I was a teenager in the late 90s, in the early 90s. So, you listen to tip, you're influenced by your environment and your peers, and, you're young. So I wrote poetry without not knowing the understanding of it. I heard about it. I took English class. I was very familiar with what poetry was as far as a genre, but I didn't know I had the gift of writing it. So I wrote the poem on the back of my global studies exam, submitted the exam, went home for the day, didn't think nothing of it. The next day when I came into class, my teacher, she was so personal that she used to have us call her Miss Ann, her first name, because she was great. She was like one of my best global history teachers. And I came into the class and she was passing out the exams to everybody. And I looked in the back of it, and I think she scored me like a 95 or something. And then at the bottom of the exam, she wrote, "That was an excellent poem. I gave you 5 extra points for that." And I didn't even know. She was like, "You have something there." And actually, that to this day, I take that as a symbolism, because I didn't realize I was writing a poem. I was just sitting there doodling. I had time. I finished the exam early. I was just sitting there like, okay, waiting for the bell to ring, So when she handed it back to me and wrote the note, and with her words just said, "You have something there. You should really look into that. You have a gift." I didn't even think about it, and from there, that started me writing. And then I would just dabble into it. Originally, I have my master's in mental health counseling, but originally I went to school for journalism. So right after college, I went to SUNY Mooresville, and I obtained my associates in journalism with a focus on broadcast radio. So it was, there was always an act for writing, and then I just dabbled with it through the years. I would write. I'm an emotional writer, so every time something would happen to me, good or bad, I would pin it down, or if something's going on around me, I would pin it down, and just put it in my drawer. And over the years, I just started collecting. And at one point, I used to work in the music business, between my 18 and 20 years old. And I would just start writing certain songs with certain artists I was with. And I never really took it as a career. I never thought about it as putting it out professionally. And I would submit to certain journals, and maybe once every couple of years I would get into an anthology, and but I never really again took it to the point to where I wanted to put it out myself. It was I guess I was still I was unsure of my skill level. I was unsure of what the public would perceive. I had a lot of insecurities about that. And then October 2014, and that's the time and month where I started writing my first collection for public display, and really setting my mind to I'm going to start putting out my writing professionally and see where it goes. And to me right now, it's not about how many books I sell. It's about really creating a buzz and really starting to building your fanship and building your readership, because that's what's going to sell books, and connecting with people. And October 2014 is when I decided to start professionally writing, and I'm actually the music publishing company I'm working on right now is actually called Oct 14, because that's the time for me. I actually started saying, you know what, instead of doing different elements of this business, how about really looking into the writing side, and really, and that was the moment for me to where I started putting out writing professionally and started saying, you know what, I want to put it out there to the world. And so October 2014 is when I actually really decided to start doing it professionally. And since then, I actually been getting a good response. I've been getting a really good response, and it's, you know, I just look forward to this new journey, and where it's going to take me. I don't know. You know, I don't know if it's, you know, this roller coaster ride is going to stop. I don't know if it's going to continue. I just like putting out titles, and, you know, and I like making people feel good. And I think one of the things about being a mental health therapist is I know how to talk people down and know how to make them feel good. So why not use that in words? And since I have that gift of writing, why not try to combine it and make it helpful? So I thought that was another inspiration to me. So